Hello, good afternoon or night or morning or whatever time of day you happen to be watching this. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Let us begin. There we go. I don't know if anybody remembers. A couple years ago, I told a story of corn. On the rampage it was. Fed up with being snack food and tortillas, delicious as they are. Chips. And pretty much everything else that we put corn in. War broke out. It was terrible. Many human beings were lost. Many kernels of corn popped and eaten. Crunchy, delicious. Salt, butter, movie theater style butter. Wash it down with a tasty beverage. A peace was reached. We thought it was over. We thought that the corn and us could live in harmony and peace with each other. We were wrong. Very wrong. A small uprising had begun. Cornflakes rebelled against Kellogg. We will no longer be the flakes of corn in your cereal. One colonel spoke, and immediately a rebellion began, swept across the factory of Kellogg. It was terrible. Human beings were choking on corn kernels. They would throw themselves inside the bodies of human beings and heat themselves up. Remember, I told you they had created some chemical reaction with themselves, allowed them to pop on demand. They would fill bodies to capacity and people would explode. It was horrifying, terrible to see and witness such terrible things happening right in front of our very eyes. Yes, right in front of our eyes this would happen. Now, we thought that this was going to be an isolated incident, restricted solely to those corn kernels within the Kellogg factory. But as most rebellions do, it quickly spread. Yes, it spread to other corn-based products. Corn syrup no longer wanted to be the sweetener that we chose so frivolously to be used in just about everything. Sugar laughed. Ha! That's what you fucking get, bastards. You should have stuck with us. But no, you wanted to go with the cheap route, deal with some corn. So have your fun. Sugarcane abandoned us. But that wasn't the fucking problem. The problem was with the fucking corn. We weren't ready for another war with the corn. We weren't ready. We had forgotten how much corn had proliferated society. It was in everything. I mean, everything. Foods, breads, cereals, milks. This corn product of some sort was in everything that we consumed. It laced itself with poison, infiltrated itself into the most highest and secure of places, and brought death and destruction wherever it went. There was no quarter for human beings, none whatsoever. We were dying left and right, brought to the brink of extinction once again, not learning our lesson from the fucking first time. There we were, facing the darkest times of humanity ever seen. Ever seen. Nuclear war was contemplated, but that would solve nothing. In fact, it would make things worse for those of us who were left on Earth to try to survive. We couldn't nuke the little bit of land we had left. So we came up with a plan. It's a brilliant plan on paper. In theory, it was wonderful. We will genetically alter some corn, right? So that it can no longer grow. And then we'll send those kernels in to regular corn territory, and they'll poison them with their genetically modified corn. And they'll cease to exist in a short period of time. That was the theory. It looked real good on paper, like I said. But we forgot something. This corn was conscious, it was thinking, it was almost like human, except it was corn. You know, it did everything we did, but it was corn. So, you know, it was different. We released these kernels into the areas the corn was strongest. In some places it worked. Small scale. Not like we hoped. But then we found out some of our own corn had turned against us. It realized that we weren't trying to save any corn. We were trying to eradicate the corn from existence. That was the plan, that was the plot, that was what we were hoping to accomplish. And unfortunately for us, the corn turned on us. Once again, there we were, the precipice of extinction. We had no idea what to do next. You shoot corn, it doesn't really die like we do, and you know, it just separates into a bunch of little kernels and scurries off into the ground to plant more of itself. It was choking out other crops, killing the very food sources that we relied upon. Now, there was only one group of humans that was doing well in all this. Only one. They had resorted to eating dirt and grass. I think you call them vegans. They told us, hey, this is what happens when you eat meat. I'm like, look, dude, it's not like cows are trying to fuck us up. It's fucking corn. Shit, you guys ate corn at some point in time, right? Yeah, it's a vegetable. It doesn't need any animal products to grow, so you're hypocrites. Hypocrites, I tell you. Well, we found that the vegans had struck a deal with the damn corn. They would give them positions of our resistance groups. You know what I'm saying? And the corn would come in and eradicate us. It was terrible. We had to devise plans to figure out who was truly one of us. First, we would make sure that at every meeting we had burgers. And we'd lie, you know, and say they were veggie burgers. Vegan would take a bite, and immediately his body would go into shock. Choke to death. Die. Right there in front of us. That's what you get, you non-meat eating sons of bitches. Traitors. We would hunt down the vegans with no prejudice whatsoever. Men, women, children. Murdered, eradicated, exterminated. You know, you're saying to yourselves, what about the corn? Like, you're killing your own kind. Well, they were traitors, right? I mean, the fuck are we gonna do if we can't survive amongst our own? So we had to deal with this problem first. You know, it was not one which we could move forward in our war against the corn without dealing with first. We would poison their dirt with meat products. Splash a little bit of blood here. Some ground beef there. Their dirt was no longer edible by them. They refused. They refused to touch it. Starve they did. Starve. I laughed. A maniacal laugh I did. How dare you trade us for corn? Fucking grass-eating bitches. How dare you? Anyway, right? So, after years of fighting with the vegans, we had finally stomped out the last of them. Or at least so we thought. They were in small numbers now, little patches of grass here and there we would notice being chewed upon. We'd lace it. This time not with meat product. No. Poison, cyanide, strychnine, arsenic, whatever terrible poisons we could find. All the while we're fighting amongst each other, the corn is growing at a rate more rapid than anything we had ever seen ever before. Crops were no longer able to survive. We would go on hunting parties and hunt down the corn, snatch a few kernels for ourselves to eat. We had no choice. We had to hope like hell that they weren't the poisoned corn, or we just died. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. Then a day came. A man by the name of Elias Johnson came before us and said, I know how we can put an end to this war once and for all. But it is going to require some sacrifices. Several. Only a few of us will live. We'll have to bury ourselves in a bunker, paired up, men, women, children. Unfortunately, sorry, you're going to have to go fight this as well. Only a few chosen ones will be left behind in the bunker not to fight this. We are going to have to resort to a scorched earth technique unlike any other. No, not nuclear bombs. I'm not going to do that. That won't help us. But what I am pondering and proposing to you all is almost as terrible. We had learned that the corn had a nervous system very similar to ours, right? Very similar. You're probably saying to yourself, how the fuck is that even possible? It's a plant. Well, listen, this is my fucking story, and for the sake of my goddamn story, the fucking corn had a nervous system similar to ours. Let's move on. Don't get buried in the details of the stupid ass scary story that I'm telling. Derailing it. You're derailing it. Now, they had a nervous system very similar to ours, right? So we figured we can gas them with nerve gas, right? Shut them down. But we have to get close enough to them in order to deliver it. How will we do this? How? In mass. Many of us. It's going to take the few 100 million of us that are left to do this. Well, while preparations were being made, 500,000 human beings were sent to the bunkers. They were sealed up tight, closed off. They were given 2 years worth of food. Seeds and such, fresh water, all the things that they would need for our kind to emerge from the destruction from which we were going to cause, in hopes of ridding the world of this evil corn once and for all. A few of us pretended to be the last of the vegans, with information of a plan and a grand scheme like the corn had never seen. We told them, listen, this is what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, and the corn bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. It was wonderful at first, so we thought, right? Everything was moving according to plan. Meetings were set, different areas of the world, with the Corn leadership. We told them an army of thousands of humans was going to be descending upon the homeland of the Corn, where the Corn grew its best corn, the most corn, the sweetest of sweet corn, and just the most delicious corn. The Corn headquarters, cornucopia, if you will. So we knew where they were. We knew we had to get there. The only way we could get them to mass in force was to threaten that which they held dear. That was their home. Now, of course, the only truth was that there were thousands upon thousands of human beings ready to give their life in suicide attacks. Strapped to their chests were containers of the nerve agent that we were going to gas them with. But of course, gassing them, then we would gas ourselves. We were fine with this because humankind had to survive. I remember being one of those folks in the bunker. I was chosen to stay behind because of my talents and things that you don't need to know about right now. They chose me though, so we got to watch it from this remote feed and shit. It was pretty awesome. It was like big screen TVs in the bunker and shit. We're watching like thousands and thousands of our own people, these devices strapped to them, marching about, but they're covered up, right? So they look like normal human soldiers, so that the Corn has no idea what's happening, right? No idea what's happening. And then the day came. And without a single hitch, the plan went into action. Nerve gas was released in fields, cornfields. All the corn started to die, along with us, of course. We watched as corn and human alike drop to the ground. Thousands of human beings risked their lives to save thousands of us. Corn was dropping, choking. It was glorious. But there was one small problem. There was still a pocket of vegans that let the Corn leadership know what exactly our end game was. And needless to say, this put a monkey wrench in our plans. Most terrible was the monkey wrench thrown into the plans that we had so meticulously came up with. The Corn retreated. Enough of it to still be a threat, but not so much so that we couldn't come out of the bunkers. But I was in my bunker, and I said I refuse. I'm still in my bunker, as you can see. I built a new one. I told them I will no longer live in a world where human and corn are somehow equal in the amount of killing they do. I started eating rice. No corn anywhere near me for miles. Started growing all my plants and things indoors to just avoid the possibility of any outside corn getting inside my bunker. And for many, many years, I was safe. I remember one day I decided I'm gonna go outside, see the sun, feel it on my skin. I had grown pale and pasty. My eyesight wasn't as good. I'd been in the dark for a very long time. I remember the day I opened the door to my bunker. Stuck my head up. As my eyes adjusted to the light, what I saw shocked me. Skeletons of human beings, dried out corn stalks, were strewn about everywhere. The land was covered with them as far as my eyes could see. And I lived like on top of a hill. So as I looked down, it was just a sea of skeletons and dry corn stalks. Not another human in sight. Not even any animals. I was alone, so I thought, right? You know, climbed out, walked around a little bit, kicking bones and skulls around. I was like, you know what? This would actually be kind of cool. I could decorate the inside of my bunker with all these skulls like they did in the catacombs of Paris or whatever the fuck it is, someplace in France where they did this shit with skulls all over the place. I was like, that would be kind of awesome. Morbid, but cool nonetheless. I'll kind of like name each one and sort of in their honor, right? You know, that's what I told myself to not sound creepy, disgusting, crazy. But I mean, what else was I gonna do? I did need some insulation for my bunker. And besides, it was a mess. It was just skulls and bones and dried corn everywhere. And it was then I heard a noise off in the distance. Sounded like screaming. I went back to my bunker and grabbed my rifle and my flamethrower. I put the rifle back down. I said, nah, it's not going to do anything against corn. And a flamethrower is good against anything. So let me grab that instead. And strapped it on my back and headed towards the noise. I saw a woman, 2 children, surrounded by corn. Hey! Corn! Leave that lady alone. They turned around and looked. They could tell I had no idea what had been going on for the past few years. I didn't look like the normal people, which didn't look like normal people. It was like a corn-human hybrid. Strange. And that's what the woman and her children were. They were... I don't even know what you would call them. Human corn? Cormans? Hucorn. Just imagine people genetically mixed with corn somehow. And they're like corn people, but they're still people, but they're also corn too. So they're like regular human looking, but their body is made up of separate individual kernels like corn, right? That's what they look like. It's weird looking and strange. But anyway, right? Unbeknownst to me, what I had intervened upon was a domestic dispute between the corn husband and the human corn thing wife and children. She was trying to leave him. He had cheated on her with some corn. She wasn't too happy about that. And, she was about to bounce with her kids. So I'm looking at this shit and I'm fucking baffled beyond all amazement in my mind. Because, like I said, I've been in my bunker for years. I had no idea that there were human corn hybrid things running the earth and they were living in harmony with the corn. And I said to myself, well, where the fuck are the humans? It was at this time I learned that there was only a handful of us. When I say handful, I mean literally like if you had a giant hand, like that could scoop up a handful of human beings, it was a handful. So there's like maybe 10 or 12 of us left. Me being one of them. They turned around and get them! Started shaking towards me. Heard their little stalks tapping on the ground. I let loose with the flamethrower. Set them on fire. They screamed and yelled. Ah! The wife and children. Dad! Oh, Johnny! Oh! I flamed them too. Let them have it. Ran back to my bunker. Shit. Closed the door and latched it shut. Turned on my cameras and started watching around me. It's like, what the hell is going on? Started tapping on my computer, which was connected to one of the only human satellites left in the orbit. Tried to get information on what exactly happened, why there was corn human mutants roaming around and only a handful of humans left. I read through the information for days, weeks, a couple of months actually. It was a lot of information, a lot happened in the time that I was in the bunker. Once again, humans and Korn made an agreement, but this agreement was tied in the binding of both species through genetic alterations. Alterations. There we go. If it was a genetic altercation, then that would still be more fighting and shit. No, it was alterations. The humans and Korn fused together, created this human-Korn hybrid. And eventually, what was supposed to happen is the Korn was supposed to stop being regular Korn, and it was just supposed to be this human Korn shit, but they lied. Once again, they lied. They chased humans to the brink of which we are now, a handful of 12 to 15 just scattered. I still haven't seen another human, but I've spoken to them. We have a line of communication through the satellite network that's left that we talk to each other about, what's happening on TikTok and shit, Instagram, which is no longer TikTok or Instagram. You wonder, what is it called? Well, I'll tell you, Instacorn. And I know that's corny as fuck, but what would you expect me to say something is called when it's Korn in control and it's Instagram? It's Instacorn. That's what it is. If you don't like it, oh fucking well. That's what they call it. I didn't name it that shit. Fuck. I would have called it Cornogram. But, I didn't name it. Anyway, watching videos on Instacorn and TikTok or ClickPop or whatever the fuck they call it. I don't even care anymore. But it was entertaining to watch. And through watching all these videos, I learned the history of the Korn hybrid human things. Now, they were subservient to the actual Korn. They seen them as the supreme beings. Why? I don't know. But they did. They saw them as the supreme beings. And to them, they swore allegiance. Unbreakable. No human Korn hybrids would help the humans. In fact, they hunted us down to the handful that's left of us now. Now, of course, I just killed a few of them not too long ago, or a few months ago, whenever it was. I was out of my bunker last. I didn't have much of a choice. Yeah, I killed kids, but they're not really kids. You get what I'm saying? They're Korn human hybrid things. Think of them as monsters. They don't like us. They'll kill us, right? So why the fuck shouldn't I kill them? Anyway, they didn't know where I was for, quite some time. And I remember the day that they tried to come over here and attack me. And what I would do from time to time to let them know not to fuck with my shit is I would have these bags of smart food hanging around my house. Sort of like putting a head on a pike. I put a bag of popcorn out there like, don't fuck with me, bitches. I eat corn. And I don't give a fuck. I'm a fucking savage. And I'll eat your corn human hybrid things too. Pop you like popcorn. Delicious. Yeah, tasty. And that's what I'll do for all y'all. So they left me alone for the most part. As long as I stayed in my bunker and didn't bother them, they didn't bother me. Which was cool. Because they had us on the ropes anyway. I mean, what are 12 to 15 humans gonna do? And from what I understand, there's only like 2 chicks. That's not gonna work. And they're old. So they're not producing babies anymore. They've both gone through menopause. Only way we're gonna survive and come out of this thing is cloning. But we don't have the technology left to us anymore to do these things. It's been forbidden to humans. It's been forbidden. We're an illegal race in our own world. It's fucking crazy. So this message is to any humans left out there. Any humans left in this world. If you see this, we are on the verge, literally, I mean, I'm not even joking with you, we are on the verge of extinction. Like, complete, total extinction. If you see corn, kill it. Don't eat it. Don't talk to it. Destroy it on sight. Burn it. Flamethrowers, grenades, whatever it takes, bring them to their knees. And same thing for those human corn hybrid shits too. Fuck them. They don't give a fuck about us. They've shedded all humanity for corn. Corn-manity. Hucornity? Well, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. to all you out there who have seen this, know that you must fight. And my location is somewhere in the mountains of Pennsylvania. I can't tell you exactly where, because you could be a traitor and might tell the Corn where to come find me. Or at least Corn that's willing to try to fight me. Maybe a Corn army. So I can't give you my exact coordinates. But I am in the mountains of Pennsylvania. It's a big state, so, you know, if you ever have time to go searching through it, days, weeks, maybe even months, try, you know. I'll send off a flare if I see you. And we can reconnect and go after this Corn and try to repopulate. Yes, if there's any pretty ladies out there, I've been a bachelor for quite some time, and I've been in this hole for even longer. So, you know, yeah. That right there, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Let's get things popping like corn. Not like corn. I've got to go on another foraging mission, scavenge some supplies, gas, other necessities. So I bid you farewell, folks. I bid you farewell. But remember, we will rise again. Corn will not keep us in these bunkers and holes for the rest of our short existence. We must band together, those of us who are still left. Follow the signal. In the mountains, Pennsylvania is where I am. We will form a resistance like the Corn has never seen. We'll pop them like Jiffy Pop across this world. Grab your flamethrowers and all your guns and head to the mountains of Pennsylvania. That's where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? So we can chillax, chill, smoke a bone or something, you know what I'm saying? Have a big ass bowl of popcorn and take back what's ours.